What's happening, guys? Gemma here and Jess. I'm back again for another episode of Two Girls One Gaming Topic, and today we are going to be discussing what we're discussing. It's in the title.
Female protagonists versus male protagonists.
Yes. Actually, I'm surprised that this hasn't come up anytime sooner. And we're going to discuss it very light-heartedly, aren't we? It's not going to be driven by sexism or anything.
No, there's no agenda here.
No, there's no agenda. But yeah, and as ever, we want your comments below, because there's a couple of things I think that, well, Jess mentioned that happened recently in the gaming world that kind of got you thinking about it a bit, really. And you mentioned a game just before we started the camera roll in there. What game was it?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me if you're repeating it?
Which you played down at EGX.
Yeah, a little bit.
With a female protagonist.
Yeah, I just think we're seeing a lot more female protagonists than we have in a long time.
Absolutely, absolutely agree. And if you think as well, so like there was a lot of kind of beef around Battlefront 2 with the new story campaign, and the main protagonist is female, and people were getting really pissed off with it.
Why though?
I have no idea why. Like, I wouldn't have cared either way. It actually bears no, it doesn't make me want to play it anymore because it's a female protagonist. And it wouldn't make me want to play it anymore if it was a male protagonist. Well,
that's not true. For me, I would say I am more drawn to games that do have the option of playing a female protagonist.
Oh yeah, the option.
But it doesn't stop me from playing games that have male protagonists in it.
Right.
You know, I just think that there's a much larger market out there for female gamers than there ever used to be. I mean, back in the days of, say, Metroid, people didn't realize it was a female protagonist until until very late in the game.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I mean, people were kind of thrown off by that. But,
yeah.
I mean, at the end of the game, does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It really is about the gameplay for me. But I can say that I don't like when they have female protagonists instead, because I feel like it's nice to be able to identify a little bit more with that character.
And I think that's the important point. You know, a lot of people can empathise with it because it now seems like there are more female gamers than there were definitely when I was growing up in the kind of like 90s, because it was taboo. Like, I had my Super Nintendo. I didn't tell anyone in school I was a gamer at all because I knew that it was frowned upon. You know, I knew that girls did not play games at all. But now, you go to like EGX or maybe E3 or the Play Expo or, expos and markets, and there's a ton of girl gamers, and it's top heavy with, female cosplay as well. It's really kind of nice to see. It's really enriching. And I like the fact that you mentioned games that you can choose between the two, like in Fallout 4. You can choose in Prey, of late Prey. So there's lots of new games that have come through recently.
Exactly.
And you can choose between the two. So I think for me, I would rather have, have the choice, even though I'd always pick like the female. Because
that's just a personal choice.
Yeah, because I just find like, but I will then go back and play again. With the men to see if there's kind of like a difference in narrations. Well, obviously different in vocal narration,
right?
But any kind of differences in terms of maybe a couple of Easter eggs you might find, different missions, different interactions. It just kind of adds a little bit more tangibility when you can pick a male and a female in a game, definitely. But kind of just cast your minds back, like, like obviously with Lara Croft, 96. Lara Croft came bursting on to the 32-bit scene.
Right.
That was a big thing. Do you remember how big of a deal that was? Because,
well, of course, but the problem with that is, as nice as that character is, they over-sexualized her. I feel like anytime, early on when they were having any sort of females in games, it was always sexualized. Especially so in, say, like GTA, there's no female protagonist in GTA unless you're playing online, right? Then you can choose if you want to be a female. But females were either somebody that needed to be rescued or they were a sex symbol. So Lara Croft, as much as I thought it was great, but they made it out so she had to have these massive boobs. But who cares really in the end? I mean, think about like The Last of Us, right?
Yes.
She's not a sexualized character, at least I don't feel. And it's a very, very strong presence in that game.
Absolutely, yeah. And she's actually not the main protagonist, or I don't believe she was meant to be, but I think actually she is
the
main protagonist. Like, her personality is so strong, and the kind of way she interacts with Joel really, again, adds that tangibility and that depth. And I think for me, games work best when there's a strong male and a strong female running through the story. I think it's ridiculous just to have a male, and it's ridiculous just to have a female. And I think as well, even if you can't play, like for example in Uncharted 4, obviously Nathan Drake is a male. He is the female Lara Croft, but
right, yeah, exactly.
His girlfriend, I've forgotten her name, I apologise, if I remember I'll put it on screen, but his girlfriend in, like, there's Sully, the other guy, then there's the girl, she's got quite a strong presence in the cutscenes, and all, you know, you can, that, it just adds like a really nice balance.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know, I mean,
my Pokemon socks. Yeah.
I think we're kind of going off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk about like cutscenes, but I don't know. I mean, Nathan Drake and Lara Croft are a perfect example because they are very similar characters, just with a different sex. And don't get me wrong, I know there's going to be people out there saying, you know, gender shouldn't be an issue, or there's non-binary this and that, and non-gendered, you know, conformity. And yeah, I understand that, but unless it's like an alien or something in a game, typically they have genders.
Yeah.
I can't think of a game that has any non-gender unless it's like a complete cartoon character.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's, no.
I can't think of any.
No, I can't think of any.
I'm sure there are some, and I'm just not.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But I think you're right. I think like, you know, Nathan Drake, Lara Croft. But originally, Lara Croft, before, when they were like writing the game, it was a man, and they changed it to Lara Croft. I did know why, but I've completely forgotten because I sat on that Tomb Raider panel at Play with all the original core developers. So it was interesting to kind of see that they decided
not on the panel. You watched the panel.
Yeah, I sat and watched the panel. Yeah, on it.
Sorry, I just had to get you on that
No, it's all good. It's all good. But it was good, and I think since Lara Croft, I think since then it's changed. For me, I think it's changed a lot. I definitely felt more comfortable as a teenager back then to start and say to my friends, I have a PS1 too. Or, you know, I used to like my Super Nintendo and I have an N64, or I want to get an N64, because that character, all the boys, like in school, my friends loved her. Like, oh, look at her, she's got triangle tits, oh. But
again, that goes back to...
Yeah, the over-sexualizing, absolutely.
Just too much focus on one protagonist here, though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you think about some of the recent games like Horizon Zero Dawn, you know, we're seeing more and more of it. And I really like that. Again, I think I can identify with them better, and maybe I'm not thinking of it right. You know, it should be all about the game, but I think there's something, it's kind of like FIFA. I mean, they're not protagonists, but
yeah,
I didn't care about FIFA at all, you know, the game anyway, until they came out with the 2016 release where you could play as the women's team. Yeah, it was the international women's team, and again, it just added, like, it was like, wow, this is insane, this is great, you know. In a way, it was nice to kind of have that. I don't know why, it just felt like, wow, that's cool. Yeah, it just different. Yeah, it just felt like really different. And obviously, as ever, what we want to know is does it matter to you? Were you one of those people that complained that Battlefront 2 had a female protagonist? Because, you know, reading like the comments on big channels like IGN around Battlefront 2, it was toxic, it was absolutely toxic, and I was like floored that there would be such, you know, sexist agendas running through. I mean, it's a game at the end of the day. For me personally, I think it's nice to have the choice, like on Fallout. Yeah, why not?
Or, you know, something like The Sims, you can go to town on things like that. You know, I'm playing a lot of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds at the minute, again, you can pick. And I've actually seen, funnily enough, a lot of streamers that I watch that play Battlegrounds, the men, they will play as a female character. So I think that's like super cool. I think that's like really cool. I like to have, you know, the choice is cool, but it is nice as well. It feels quite powerful when there is a flipping strong female lead, like in Horizon Zero Dawn, which is what you mentioned. So let us know what you think.
Or say, Aliens. Oh, what was...
Oh, you've got, in Alien Isolation, it was Amanda Ripley.
Right, that's the one I'm thinking.
The daughter of...
I'm terrible with names, I apologise.
No, it's okay. But again, another good one. Yeah, strong female lead. Lots of kind of NPCs that were male around and non-playable characters. around her that really just padded out the story. But I don't think you could have done Alien Isolation any other way, because Ripley didn't have a son.
No.
You know, it obviously, like, I don't think they had any
But I'm
control.
just mentioning another game where it is,
yeah,
you know, female lead. So,
oh, yeah.
I don't know. Do you think we're going to see more of this?
I don't know. I think we will, Jess. I think that's a good question. And you know, do you?
I think little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the game industry is changing, or at least accepting that it's not quite as it appears.
Right.
You know, for a long time, like you said, women didn't admit they played games, or it just wasn't accepted, and they just kind of ignored that channel.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's obvious there are a lot more.
And that's cool. That's cool on both accounts. So let us know what you guys think. Does it matter? Does it not matter? We've shared some of our thoughts, and I don't think I can add anything else unless you want to touch on anything else around this. This is quite a cool debate, really.
I don't know. It kind of went a little differently than I thought it would.
Yeah, well, that's good. This is why it's like so unplanned. This is why I just love Two Girls One Gaming Topic, because we just get this thing. It's so random. This playlist is. It's great. It's awesome. Anything else you can add?
No, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching, guys. Smash them comments below, and I'll be back soon with another video, and then Jess will be joining me on this playlist again very soon. So take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.